afternoon, everyone. Last video we talked about bowing and how to hold the bow. So today I would like to address another important element in your sound tone quality is the contact point. So what's a contact point? That is a place where your bow touches the string. And it's not just the point. It also involves you holding the bow at a 90-degree angle. Like this. Exactly perpendicular to the strings. Right? So how can you achieve that, and why should you achieve that? Ideally, in classical technique, the point right between the area between the bridge, right here, and the beginning of your fingerboard right there is the area where your bowing is ultimate, and it gives you the undistorted, clear tone. So we want to get that. Why? Because having that tone, then you can experiment with it. Then you can try different things. But first you have to be consistent. And you have to learn how to do that just so that you can have this clear, undistorted sound. All right? How can we practice that? We can watch the mirror, right? So if you're standing in the mirror, your body doesn't necessarily have to be lined up because we all have different physiology and we hold it differently, but your instrument has to be there, flat, two-dimensional in the mirror, sideways, so that you can see clearly where you are touching with your bow and what the angle is. So right now, my bow is a straight line, perpendicular to the dimensions of the mirror and to the dimensions of my instrument. So there we go. That's it. That's the tone we want, right? And to achieve that, try a couple minutes each day, just playing in front of a mirror and looking at it. Don't involve your left hand yet. But there we go. That's the clear, undistorted tone. Now, there are so many techniques. If you play a little closer to the fingerboard, there, the sound becomes a little fuzzy, a little warmer, and sometimes often actually used in the modern music. And in the beginning of 20th century, Bela Bartok did that in his folk dances for violin and various instruments. So not an uncommon technique. Playing on the bridge. So as we get closer, it becomes fuzzy. Hector Berlioz uses that in his Symphonie Fantastique for this mysterious effect of skeletons dancing and all kinds of entities of unclear nature. So it is kind of distorted and it sounds creepy, sounds mysterious, sounds devilish, mischievous would be the best word. There is a circular bow that's part of extended techniques cultivated probably in the 20th century, beginning of 20th century, out of 19th century, is where you actually make a circle with your bow. As you bow from frog to tip, this is more of like a four-dimensional bowing that I call this way. It shows this range of tone from frog to tip, yes, from frog to tip, and from the bridge to the fingerboard. And you can go really far as the very end of your instrument. So there, let's try it. Try it with some left hand. What I like about it is that everything is in motion and moving, and it's beautiful. The truth is, you can play with any position of your body. And yes, there are certain classical rules that we have to start with and keep going because they are the fundamentals. But you can play even if you are dancing or extended from the ceiling, suspended in the silks, as long as your contact point is intact. You can do this. One of my signature moves where I'm dancing, my leg is up. And it still works. Why? Because the world of my contact point is intact and consistent. Consistency is key in most practice. So I wish you happy practicing and see you next week.